Hello, Stampers. It's Shauna Mikulak. Some of you may know me as Stamp Ventures with Shauna. I'm a Stampin' Up! Independent demonstrator here in Canada. And today I'm here to show you a project using something from our beautiful new January through June mini catalog. I've selected to use the Art Gallery bundle. And my project is also going to feature some of this new Golden Garden designer specialty acetate and a little bit of this fine art ribbon. I probably won't remember that that's the exact name of that ribbon. I'll probably have to look at it when I get to that part of my presentation. These products are found on page 33 of the new mini catalog, and the Art Gallery bundle is at a really nice price point. Not only do you get when you buy the two items together at the bundled 10% off price, but it's just over $60 and it allows you to pick out a celebration item for free to go with it. So that's kind of a nice perk to remember for January and February. So I'm going to be showing you some tips to make this card here. And here is the Art Gallery stamp set and the dies. I've got one of them already taken out from the demonstration. What you should note, first of all, is this is a photopolymer stamp set, and the images are actually quite a bit bigger. They're 15% bigger than the pictures shown on the front of the case. So yeah, when you're getting your blocks and things and you're getting ready to stamp, like I'll be using this stamp today, you have to, make sure you've got one that's just a little bit bigger than what they've pictured here. One of the reasons that I like this stamp set is that it has so many words and can be used for so many different occasions throughout the year. I really like that feature about the stamp set. And I also have fun doing the two-step stamping, and I'll demonstrate that here as well, because it's neat to see how our different ink colors can be used one on top of each other to create some nice effects. So to get started, I'm going to grab 2 pieces of white paper, and I'm going to stamp this image here, right here, twice. I've got no, it's not seafoam, it's soft seafoam. I've got soft seafoam, and you'll notice that I've got a foam mat underneath my white paper. It just allows all parts of the image to make contact with that paper. It just really makes the image look so much nicer. And I'm going to stamp it exactly, again, the same image in a different color. So I'm going to have to clean off the ink so I can switch to the Blushing Bride. Do any of you have a chamois that looks quite ugly like this? If you do, give yourself a pat on the back. That's awesome. That means that you've been doing lots of stamping and yeah, and using it to clean off your stamps. So quick and handy. And if you don't have a chamois that looks like that, don't be scared. They're supposed to get like that. They're supposed to look awful once you've cleaned lots of stamps, but they just rinse right out. Put them under water, and when the water runs clear, they're ready to go again and to clean some more photopolymer stamps. Okay, so this is Blushing Bride. And then here is the 2-step part of my card. This little image right here, it doesn't look like much, but it adds just another bit of depth and color when you use it in combination with these images. So I've got Rococo Rose. That's, I think it's a 2019, 2021, oh, that's not working that way, ink pad, ink color, in color ink color, which means we're not going to be having it around that much longer. I think our new catalog is going to go live. Our new annual catalog is going to go live earlier this year. I think it's like in May. So yeah, just 4 more months for this set of in color inks. The nice thing about this little second layer of stamping, this image isn't a perfect outline or anything. It's just to give some shape and body and depth to what you're stamping, so it doesn't have to be aligned perfectly with your flowers, and it's really easy to work with. So there is a die in the bundle that works just amazingly well to cut out these shapes. And another thing that's nice to know about this die, it is the perfect size to run through our Baby Boss. Our Baby Boss is our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. You can see how it fits perfectly onto those little cutting pads. You're going to notice when I've created my sandwich here, I haven't lined up all of my cutting pads at the same exactly at the same spot at the edge. It's hard for this little machine to eat this big sandwich if they're all lined up straight. So it's okay to stagger them a little bit. But this here, I wasn't going to do this, but it's so fun to use this little machine. I'll run it through really quickly. It's just the perfect size for these little flower bouquet dies. So you have to make sure you get it good and firmly in there to get it started, and then hold on to the handle at the top because it's a strong machine, and so you have to hold on and keep it sturdy and in its spot. Those gears in there working. Yeah, and there we go. It punches out, die cut punches. I don't know if that's a thing to say. Die cut punches out the little shape. I won't do the second one. You understand how that all works together, but I've actually got two here that are all ready to go. And now to create the focal point for the card, I'm just going to do a little surgery. I'm going to grab my paper snips and I'm going to follow the line, the cut line that's been created by the die. Just keep following the curve all the way down. And then I'm going to cut around the stem, because I don't want a pink stem. And then I'm going to cut around the next pink stem. No pink stems allowed. And then I'm going to cut off the last pink stem. So I've got 3 blossoms that are going to fit just nicely on top of my green piece here. Now I need one more blossom. That's this one. You're going to notice it has these funny little antennas sticking out of it. I'm going to just gently curve and cut those pieces off, those little snippets of paper. No pink stems allowed. And I'll cut around these edges, just following the curve. There we go, and gently cut around the stem. So now we can finish off the surgery by stitching things back up. I'm just using a little bit of my Snail Plus adhesive. I really like the Plus because it's so strong and I find it breaks off really nicely. It has built-in little breaks in the roll of adhesive. Okay, and there we go. So there's our blossoms on our green stems, and I'm going to adhere these with dimensional adhesives. Okay, I do use these pieces along the side, but I like to snip between them so they're easier to pull off. I've got another one here that that has some that are easier to grab. So I made this card for a swap with my silver friends, and I did this about 10 times, and I found that I could use 3 big of the regular dimensionals, and then 2 of the minis fit nicely in those other areas. And now, hopefully, I've got nearby a die cut, I think this is a stitched nested label. And I wanted to actually die cut this from gold foil paper, but I ran out of gold foil. So this is the brushed foil paper, and it's very similar. It's got a nice gold tone to it. It was the brushed foil that was in our holiday mini. So yeah, check your stash, see what you've got on hand. Now, here's this beautiful designer acetate, and I'm going to be adhering it to a card base that's 11 inches by 4¼ The acetate is kind of neat because it is gold on one side, and then on the other, it's kind of got a silver tone to it. And I don't want my adhesive showing through. So you'll notice that I don't have any adhesive in the corners. I'm going to run my adhesive right down the middle here where it's going to be covered up by this label die. So I kind of hold that die in place just to get an idea of where I'm going to run my adhesive. And here's something else I discovered with the acetate sheets is if you stick them down in the wrong spot, the neat thing is that you can just lift it up and replace it again in a new spot. Doesn't have the fibers in its layers that peel off like it would with our cardstock. So that's kind of nice, is that you don't have to be in too much of a worry of not getting it straight the first time. And the reason I went with a piece of acetate that's just a bit narrower than the card is that this acetate is 4 inches wide by 5½ tall, and that meant that I could get 1, 2, 3 4-inch wide strips out of a 12-inch by wide piece of the acetate, and I was able to make more cards that way. So I still feel like I'm a little off with my placement on this. Okay, let's do this again. Here we go. Yeah, so I really like, anytime I'm working with 12 by 12 paper, I really try to use the paper to the best measurement as possible, and divided by 4 works really well. Well, I still feel like I might be off just a slight bit, but you get the idea. I won't fuss with that anymore. Okay, we'll go back. More dimensional adhesives. Here we go. And at the bottom of my card here, I have tied a bow, and I'll quickly show you how I did that. You may have your own way of tying bows. Everybody's kind of got their way that works for them, and I'll show you the way that I was doing it for these cards. What did I say this was called again? The Fine Art ribbon? Yeah, it has beautiful sparkly gold threads in it, which maybe aren't showing up all that well on the video. But I have been taking and creating 2 bunny ears, one for each hand, and I found I needed to, give myself a generous amount of ribbon to work with. If I made it too small, it just didn't work all that well. And because of the metallic threads in this, the ribbon doesn't slip really, it doesn't slide nicely against itself. There's a little bit of friction there, so you need to have something to work with and hold on to. So cross those bunny ears over, and then you've created this little hole down at the bottom, and the bunny ear is going to come, one of the bunny ears will fold under and come up through that hole. Let's see if I can get this to work, and there we go. And the bow tends to flip upside down, but that's what happens when you tie bows like this. Your bunny ears end up at the bottom and your tails end up at the top, but that's just kind of how it goes. Okay, I'm going to grab my ribbon scissors to trim this off here and do a little bit more tidying up of the bow. I found, again, because there's quite a bit of texture with the gold threads in here, that you have to really hold on tight to be able to adjust the bows and the tails, the loops and the tails on these. There we go, on these bows. Now it feels like that one's twisting a little. I'm going to do the check and see which side I like better. Hang on. Gotta get the tails kind of sort of even. So do we like that side better, or do we like that side better? Ooh, that one looks kind of tidy and neat. This one's got a little bit of a fold in that part of the ribbon there. So I think I'll make this the back. Just gonna grab some of my glue dots. I like to put a couple glue dots, especially with this wider ribbon. There we go. So that bow is going to stay in place. There we are. Just another option, alternative to this project. Another take on it is to add some words, just using one of the greetings from the stamp set. I think it's called, is it the Modern Label Punch? Something like that. I used that label punch, but there is also, in the dies with this set, there are 2 labels that you can use to punch out the words as well. So that would work too. If you're doing a whole bunch of cards as swaps, and you're making a stack of 10 or 20 of them, sometimes the punches are just a little bit faster. And then I would have just taken one of the pieces of the art gallery ribbon and folded it in half and tucked it under with a glue dot and called it good. So I hope you enjoyed my project that I shared with you today, and have lots of fun with all the new products that are coming out in our beautiful spring mini catalog. And happy celebration, everyone. Bye for now.